At the end of the day, the launch of the District of Columbia Vulnerable Populations Community Healthcare Coalition is really about one thing. It is about making sure that all residents of the District of Columbia and our region are prepared to keep themselves, their family, their neighbors safe in the event of a disaster or emergency. The coalition will meet regularly to discuss ways to empower vulnerable populations in the District of Columbia to withstand and recover from a disaster and emergency. We seek to identify healthcare preparedness and response strategies to meet the unique needs of vulnerable populations in the District of Columbia.
Well, the word implies that vulnerable. These are the populations that are typically left behind. So we are actively working towards ensuring that we have better access to everyone, with information, with shelter, with food, any resources that we as a city can provide.
Any one of us can be vulnerable and at risk at any time. But there are members of our community that we know are at greater risk. So we really need to think about those members of our community so that as we are structuring our response plans and are putting in our communication strategies, that we're thinking about how do we get information out to the broader population? How do we make sure that those individuals in particular who we know are at greater risk when it comes down to there being an emergency or disaster have information in the way that they need it so that they can do what they need to do to protect themselves, their family, and their communities.
The significance is that it's going to possibly save lives, it's going to increase the quality of life, it's going to decrease the stress level of the families that may not live in the area.
It's getting major key players to sit down and talk about this, and communicating with each other is the key to that.
For me, it's important to share my ideas and share our office ideas and the great work that we're doing with our partners here in the city so we can find a synergy. Where do our activities overlap and how do we help each other achieve our mutual goals?
This group has come together not because of legal requirements, but because it's the right thing to do, and that everyone here is speaking to a higher purpose.
It's an opportunity to come together in one voice about what our priorities are.
This issue is one that's quite dear to my heart. The population that I serve is the elderly and disabled within the District of Columbia. We serve them in their homes to ensure that they are able to live as independently and to age in place. This coalition here would give us the tools in order to make sure that they're safe in case there is a disaster that occurs.
Well, this issue is really important. It's an issue that did not just come up today. It's something that over the past several years we've been talking about, and really is about coordination and finding synergy between individuals who are in need of assistance and making sure the resources are there for them.
I think this issue means that there's opportunity to collaborate with people that know stories on the ground.
And as a volunteer, I'm always concerned about my Sudanese community who came to US fairly recent, you can say 10 to 12 years max. They just don't know a lot about what's available in the system to help them and their communities and their families.
The statistics are clear that if you're in a disaster or you have a heart attack or you're choking, a stranger is going to save your life. And we want as many folks prepared to handle emergencies.
I think the most important thing that can happen with this coalition is that the education for the community is forefront.
By coming together, we can make sure that we communicate, share resources, and more importantly, serve the population.
We want to make sure that people are aware of information and resources and the tools that are in place that are going to help them be able to withstand, respond, and recover. We want to break through bureaucracy, we want to break down silos and bring together all our partners, government, nonprofit, private sector, providers, get people to the table so that we can make sure that our residents are informed and empowered to make sure that they're safe and that they're well.